Hello to our final rankings.
Final rankings. Let's keep this short and sweet. Essentially, we already know who went home, but we also could have predicted it from the time of the veto being crowned. So we had our jury roundtable, and tomorrow's the finale. So these are pretty much rankings on who do we think at this point will win the game. That's all that matters.
Yes.
With that being said, let's get started. We start with Grace, who was the HOH this week.
I mean, the only reason. Well, okay. The only reason I gave Grace a 9 last week was because that if Haley won the veto, she would have competition in the final week. But in all honesty, like she has equal chance as Haley to win part 3. And then pretty much whoever wins part 3 is gonna win the game. So I have no reason not to give Grace a 10 this week.
I'm also at a 10 for Grace. And I mean, if we really want to speed this up, which I do, I have the exact same thing to say about Haley.
Exactly.
At this point, it is we already know that Grace has won part 1. I expect Haley to win part 2, which means it's going to come down to them in part 3. And truly, it's a toss-up. Whichever one of them wins part 3 will most likely take Michael to the end and will most likely win the jury vote, especially based off of how this roundtable went. So while it really is like a 50-50 chance of like whether or not they make it to the end, that's a 50-50 chance of winning. And if they lose the comp, then it's not like anything that they can prepare for. It's literally just gonna come down to it's just gonna come down to the comp. Like there's really no way that they can even prepare. So 10s for the both of them from me.
Me too.
They're both really hyped up from the jury.
They both played phenomenally. Both had great seasons.
And I really think that there's no chance either of them sit next to each other in the final 2. So
look at that. Crazy. Wild season. Okay. Cade had 7s from both of us. Okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
No, I think he did a 6.5.
Oh, wait, let me just check I don't know if that's checking. What did you give him? Do you remember?
I don't. I think I gave him the 7.
Not that one. I gave him the 7.
You gave him the 7?
You gave him the 6.
Gotcha.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at Haley. You gave him the 7. I gave him the 6.
Okay, that's what I thought. I can start with Cade. I mean, listen, this came down to the veto, and Haley clearly was just the most prepared out of anyone. It was going to be tough to beat her, and the only person that could have done it was Grace, and she was unfortunately just a little too unprepared strategically for what this comp was, it seemed like. There wasn't a ton Cade could do. This week wasn't horrible. All of the results of this week really were because of last week. So I really cannot fault Cade. I mean, I can fault Cade, but nothing new from this week. And he played a phenomenal game. So I'm going to lower my score and I'm going to keep him at a 6. Or lower my score to a 6 for me.
I was at a 6, right? I'm gonna.
Yes.
For some reason I thought you were at 7. I'm gonna go down to a 6. No, wait.
No, you were
at a 6. I'm gonna stay at a 6. For the same exact reason. I mean, he just made a poor decision last week.
Well, for me, it wasn't even a poor decision. He just played it wrong. Well, he played it too open, out, and messy.
If he convinced Michael to send Grace home, he would have been HOH and save. Haley would have evicted Michael, and then he has to win his way to the end, which is better than where he is right now. But
true, but I think he could have played it so that he could have been in this final 4 with Grace, Haley, and Michael all wanting to take him to the final 2. And unfortunately, he just overplayed his hand a little too much.
Yes, I'm gonna go down to a 6.
No, you're staying at your 6.
Staying at my 6. I'm so tired. Sorry. Who Was this Cade? 6. But yeah, overall, Cade had a very impressive season. Kind of sucks to end this way, but he played a really great game. So Michael had a 5 from me and a 4 from you.
So I mean, the thing with Michael is, truthfully, I don't feel that he's played the second half of the season, and that's not because I'm like, oh, he didn't do anything. I'm like, no, he literally wasn't here. So the jury sees that. I think like they're going in saying like, look, Michael, if you can really prove it to us that we're wrong, go for it. But I really don't know how many votes he can get. The one thing I will say is him choosing to evict Molly really did secure himself second or a spot in that final two. Um, I don't think he has a shot to win, especially because the last chance to build anything on his resume, he's not prepared to win the comp tomorrow. Um, so
Especially against Haley.
especially against Haley, like exactly. So there's really not much he can do. I'll raise my score to a 5 since he's probably going to be there, but like I'm not going higher than that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at my 5. Just because being in the end is a feat of itself. I
Yeah.
feel like if you're here, you don't really deserve less than a 5. That being said, I feel like Michael is the bare minimum score. Um, there's not really much he can do to win, and the jury doesn't seem too impressed. As impressed that I thought that they were like praising him, but that wasn't really the case of the roundtable tonight. So Michael finishes the season with 5.
So yeah, I mean, most likely, again, our predictions have been wrong
Oh my
consistently in the
God,
past.
don't say that.
So I'm knocking on wood, but we are most likely looking at either Haley or Grace winning the season. And it really is a toss up on which one of them it will be, not in the jury vote, but on who's going to win the final HOH and snipe the other one. So it'll really be interesting to see. They both deserve it. Both would be fantastic winners. And I'm really excited to see how the season ends.
Me too. All right. Well, our next video will be the finale. So see you then. Okay, bye.